Hi guys, welcome to your week 3 Modern World launch, and we are going to keep discussing the next checkpoint in the Ideas That Change the World project. If you're looking at your pace chart and following along, you want to make sure you're noticing that this is week 3. Week 3 runs from Wednesday the 5th through Tuesday the 11th. So if you just follow this straight over, this would show that you need to try to master this focus area this week. So finish the Forms of Government focus area, as well as trying to finish the Ideas That Change the World checkpoint 3. Obviously, if you have not done checkpoint 1 and 2 yet, make sure you start with 1 and 2 before you do 3. And then whenever we go to do attendance every Wednesday, what we do is we look back at how much work you've really put in this week, how many times you've attempted those the content assessments, how many checkpoints you've submitted, did you look at the feedback, did you make some changes? But if you're somebody who's only in there 1 or 2 days a week, maybe trying a diagnostic, you're likely going to be marked absent a couple days a week. A reminder that the pace chart is found in the Google Classroom under the classwork page. I've put it under class resources, so I recommend saving or printing a copy for yourself. And this would be just for anybody who's hearing this for the first time. We did get some new students this week, so just to quickly, again, explain that launches are what you're watching right now. They are instructional videos that are to help you learn new concepts as well as to keep pace with the projects and focus areas. So each week you'll learn a little bit about the checkpoint that you're supposed to be working on and also get some hints and helpful information to pass the focus areas. So if you're looking to stay on pace, following along with the launches from week to week is the best way to do so. Just a reminder that the launches must be completed the week that they are assigned. If you are new to the course this week and this is your first launch you're watching, you do not have to go back and do week 1 and 2. You're not expected to do that. You're just going to start right now. But it would help you to get a better idea of how to complete the project to go back and watch those on your own. So just a reminder again that you cannot go back and complete all these launches later in the year for credit. They do make up 10% of your final grade, so it's important that you do these because they can swing your letter grades. But you're not going to have the option to go back like you did last year and on May 24th do 30 launches in all 5 classes, because again, we want meaningful learning, and the point of these is so that you're keeping pace and learning something throughout the year. The Ideas That Change the World project, this is our 3rd week discussing this one. It all is based around how ideas can spark change and how the Enlightenment philosophers, the ideas that they put out there, how they might have sparked something in people that led them to revolt and start to think against the traditional norms. So checkpoint 3 is what we're working on this week, and the focus of this one is how did the Enlightenment philosophers influence people to take action and revolt? So whenever you're looking on your screen, you will see the checkpoints down the side, and you just click into checkpoint 3. And we are answering the how did the Age of Reason writers and speakers influence people to action and revolution? So when you click into that, and I do want to take you into the summit at this point, you're going to see this page. And when I click into it, this one you'll see is it's saying discussion and contribution. We're not doing a discussion for this one. It is a little difficult sometimes in cyber school to do a discussion. So for the purpose of this one, what I want you guys to do is to please just skip all of this. The only thing I want you to do is go down to option 2. So option 2 on the last page is the only thing that you're required to do for this checkpoint, because this is what's going to help you complete your final product. We are not doing the discussion, so everything else is kind of pointless on this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your own claim in response to the supporting question, how did the Age of Reason writers and speakers influence people to action and revolution? So you need to have a claim, which is basically your opinion on what you, like your answer, what you think really happened. And where you're going to get that idea is by looking into these resources over here. So click into the revolutionary documents. Again, I recommend printing these is probably the best, but it also does tell you to how to highlight different things. And really, I think the highlighting is what will help you separate and find different answers for yourself. So you should read through all of these documents and take some notes along the side if you'd like to. It also defines some words down here if you're not sure what those mean. but go through here, read them, and really try to see what did these philosophers, what ideas were they putting out there that really told the rest of the people in the nation? How did they spark that idea that, hey, we should revolt against the king and queen? So what ideas did these philosophers put out here in their work that might have caused some of those revolutions? So that's going to be your evidence, which you're going to then place in this second one here. What evidence could you use to support that claim? So you want to make sure that you are referencing those documents over here. Okay. All right, also a reminder to use the plans page. So I have been adding in here every week what you should be doing. So that if this is something that helps you and it's a little easier than going back and watching the launches to see what you're supposed to do, go into each project, and under here, I've already had week 2 in here and I will be adding week 3, but it tells you exactly what you should try to do by that specific date. So use the plans page in the summit. Your forms of government focus area, just again, it is, you should really try to master that by the end of this week, the 11th. For those of you who are new to the SLP, remember, take the diagnostic assessment one time. That's basically just a fancy word for a pretest. So you're just going to be taking that, and then you're going to look at the numbers that will appear in these little circles here. It's going to tell you how many you got right in each of those objectives, and then study accordingly. If you got 0 out of 3 questions right on objective 1, that tells you that you should really focus on objective 1. So what you do then is you click into each objective, you study the resources that are in that playlist, and then when you feel ready, you can request a content assessment right here. Requesting it does not mean that it's going to be available right away. You're going to want to either send your instructor a message, send your learning guide a message, but just ask if they could open it up for you. And again, you're going to have the most success during our actual workday, which is between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. And for those of you who have not mastered it yet, I wanted to kind of help you guys out a little bit, maybe give you a hint on some questions. So they do focus on some of the different types of government, and this one is the difference between a constitutional monarchy and an absolute monarchy. So I know you guys probably have heard Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Those guys, they're all part of a constitutional monarchy. So this is Queen Elizabeth, and what a constitutional monarchy is it's a monarch that does kind of oversee the entire nation, but they're also governed by a constitution. They have a set of laws that they need to follow. They can't just do whatever they want, whenever they want. So there's also a governing body, which would be the British Parliament, that would also be helping to govern. But they're in charge, but it's within reason. They have rules because of the Constitution, as opposed to an absolute monarchy, which is basically you have absolute control over every single thing in that nation state. And there's really no sets of laws that outline that. So you're above the law, basically. All right, so to do for Tuesday, 9/11, make sure that you try to master the forms of government focus area. Submit checkpoints 1, 2, and 3 of the project. Again, if you have not yet done 1 and 2, don't start with 3. Go back to 1 and work from there. And also wait for that feedback before you move on to the next one. Make sure you're also reviewing the feedback, making the changes, and resubmitting. So it's not just about submitting the checkpoint just to get it done. You want to make sure that you're also going back and reviewing what I have to say and then making those changes so that we can have the best final product possible.